All right. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show today. Obviously, let me just put this a little bit down. It's been a good week. Obviously, nice and sunny. Apart from yesterday, it was really rainy by me. And also to anyone that's in Spain or Portugal or parts of France, hopefully everyone's doing all right with the electricity. I lost my electricity on Monday for a good while. But we are here. We are here to talk about the El Toro La Liga show, talking about what happened on the weekend, this past weekend of La Liga. Well, not La Liga because we had the Copa del Rey, which you can see right here, and also you also have the there was actually another game that happened on Sunday. But yeah, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on X, on Twitter as well. Yeah, we might as well should get started here. Let's get started with the Copa del Rey final between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Now, obviously, I did a watch long for this. It practically hit 1,000 views on the channel for my channel. So big up to everyone that have watched my live stream, my live watch long of the El Clasico Copa del Rey final, first one since I believe 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a while, and what a game it was. Obviously, Barcelona winning this game for the third time in El Clasico this season. It has ended with a Barcelona win, and it's not going to be the final El Clasico of the season. But obviously, Barcelona picking up 3 out of 3 wins over Real Madrid. Pedri, Ferran Torres, Kunde all scoring for Barcelona, and obviously Mbappe and Tchouameni scoring. I'm just giving you a nice recap on this. I'm not really going in depth about this game, but obviously it's one to take note on. But yeah, Barcelona scoring in the 116th minute with 4 minutes. It was Jules Koundé who did score that goal for Barcelona that ended up Barcelona winning the Copa del Rey, the first of potentially a treble. Now, obviously, I did a watch long last night of the Barcelona game against Inter. That game is still up for grabs. It's 3-3. We'll see how they do next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, against Inter, this time at the San Siro. But yeah, as for Real Madrid, obviously nothing much left of the season. They only have like 4 games to go of this season. Barca could have a lot more, at least one more, with that Inter game on Tuesday, next Tuesday. But for Real Madrid, Rudiger, his season's finished. Vasquez, I think he's out for the next 2-3 games with that red card. Bellingham got his red card rescinded, I believe, or has a 1-match ban, something like that. But yeah, Rudiger's season is finished. And yeah, it's going to be interesting how these two will compete now for the title. It's going to be really interesting. I will definitely say that. But yeah, that is it for the Copa del Rey action. Now it is time for the return of La Liga. We have La Liga to talk about. Hopefully, I get this a little bit sorted. Here we go. Let me just all right. Good. Just let me update my timestamp. And yeah, we're back. We're back with La Liga this weekend, finally. And the first game back of the La Liga weekend, match week 34, I believe, we have here is Rayo, or 35, I'm not sure. It's Rayo Vallecano against Getafe. Big game, obviously, both teams from Madrid or different parts of Madrid. Win probability 40% for Rayo Vallecano win, 32% for a draw, 28% for a Getafe win. Now, look, we'll start with Rayo Vallecano, who are down in 11th, but also Getafe are also in 12th. So both teams practically in mid-table. But when I say mid-table, they're literally like 3 points off of Europe, or at least for Rayo. Getafe are 5 points off of Europe. Now, it is for sure guaranteed 110% that it will be 8th place, will get the Conference League, and 6th and 7th place will get the Europa League at the moment, it seems, unless Athletic Club drops out of the top 4. But for now, we'll talk about Rayo and Getafe. Both teams not on good form. 1 win for both in each of the last 5 games. So not a great form that both teams are in, but Rayo obviously posting against Getafe. However, the last time Rayo did play on a Friday, I think they lost 4-0 to Espanyol. But yeah, for Rayo, it's not been great. They at one point, fifth, sixth, seventh in the league, but now they've really dropped off, not in great form. Getafe as well dropped off a lot in recent times. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Now, I am doing a live watch on for this game tomorrow, so it's actually, I hope, my first actual Friday night watch long. Rayo Vallecano versus Getafe, Friday night football. Look, I'll give my prediction here. I think Rayo could actually get a win here. It's at home. I don't think Getafe are going to do much in this game. I could see it only being a 1-0, so I might go with a 1-0 scoreline between these two. So I'll go 1-0 to Rayo Vallecano, and I hope also my internet's good as well. But I'm going 1-0 Rayo Vallecano. Next up, this Saturday afternoon, we have here is Alavés against Atlético Madrid. Now, obviously, both teams won during the midweek last week before the Copa del Rey games. 25% for Alavés win, 30% for a draw, and 45% for an Atlético win. Now, obviously, both of these teams are in different, contrasting sort of positions in the table. Atleti are third, quite comfortably third. They're 6 points behind Real Madrid. They're 6 points ahead of Athletic Club. So Atletico almost seemingly looking very likely to finish in third. I don't really think there'll be much change from them this season. It's been a bit of a climatic and anticlimactic end to the season, and they are also 10 points behind Barcelona with 5 games to go. So I don't think they'll win it at all. I don't think there's any danger of Atleti dropping out because they are 11 points ahead of 6th place Betis. So Atleti getting Champions League football. As for Alavés, they did pick up a win against Sociedad the other day, last week. That 1-0 win over Sociedad actually got Alavés out of the relegation zone by 2 points. So they at least have picked up a couple of wins now in the last 5 games, you would say. And yeah, look, Alavés, I think they have a lot more to play for compared to Atleti, and we're seeing Atleti lose to a team like Las Palmas. But I might have to go with a draw here. I think a draw might be a suitable result for Alavés. Atleti, I don't think are playing for much, and I'm just going with a draw. I'll probably go with like a 1-1 draw here. I don't think it would seemingly be much up for grabs for Atleti, I would probably say. So I'll go with a draw in that case. As we do move on, and obviously to the chat, big up to Charlie as well. Next up here we have is Villarreal against Osasuna. Now, obviously, Villarreal did play a couple games recently, but 62% win probability Villarreal, 21% for a draw, and 17% for Osasuna. Now, if you remember, guys, Osasuna were down in the table. Osasuna are currently holding the Conference League spot. They picked up 3 wins in a row. Obviously, one of them against Valladolid. I did a watch long for that a couple weeks ago. And yeah, look, I'll be honest, right? Osasuna, they've picked up form at the right time. Because they have been really struggling throughout 2025. But last month they were definitely the better team. In April, Villarreal, they got themselves pulled back into the fight of that Champions League place. Look, they got that win over Betis a while ago, but now the tables have turned on Villarreal. But they did get that win against Espanyol last Sunday, which was one of the rescheduled games. So every team now, there's no games in hand, but Villarreal at least got that win under their belt. But yeah, I think it's really close between Villarreal and Betis. Osasuna now also competing for something. After getting that, they could go for 4 straight wins, and if they do get a win, it would be a massive boost. They could also, creep into the Europa League spot, so that would be quite unexpected from Osasuna. Now, prediction for this game, I don't know. I just feel like the quality of Villarreal might actually help them in the end, and I might have to go with a Villarreal win, so I might have to do that. I'll go 2-0. I think the run of all comes to an end here. So I'm going with a 2-0 win for Villarreal in that one. Now, I don't know why it feels a bit weird for me. But next up, we do have here is Las Palmas against it. On my way to watch Andrew Ball, better win, we'll see. And AD744 says hi, big up to you. Yeah, Las Palmas against Valencia. Now, both of these teams in a little bit of a different piece of form, but 37% for Las Palmas win, 28% for a draw, and 35% for a Valencia win. So it's quite even, you would say, between these two teams. Now, if we scroll a bit down into the table, Valencia, I will say just now, I think are clear of the relegation scrap, along with Espanyol, who we'll talk about. Obviously, unbeaten in the last 6-7 games for Valencia. I think the last time they lost was against Atleti, if I'm not mistaken. They did obviously beat Real Madrid a long while ago. But yeah, a couple of draws kind of halted the winning momentum that Valencia had. As for Las Palmas, they lost last week, but they did have 2 wins sandwiched in between 2 losses. The only 2 wins of the season, or not of the season, but of 2025. But it has kept them in a good spot, because otherwise they would really be cut adrift, Las Palmas. But now they've pulled themselves back into the relegation scrap, which they have been. And luckily, their form has kind of hit a good stride despite that loss last midweek. But yeah, with Las Palmas, I think they have to get the win here. Valencia, if they get at least a point here, I think it's well. I did say the safe, so I don't think it will really matter too much. But Las Palmas have a lot more to play for. That's what I would say. But I just think Valencia, good run of form for them. I think they might halt the Las Palmas fight back. Obviously, these two, I remember they played in the Mestalla, and it ended in a 3-2 win for Las Palmas. So Las Palmas could do a double over Valencia. But this time, I'm going with the away team again. This time, it's Valencia. I'm going with Valencia win. Why not? Let's go 3-2. Another 3-2 away win. This time, Valencia to win. That's my prediction. 3-2 for Valencia. As we do move on to the next game. The next game here we have is Real Valladolid against Barcelona. Now, obviously, Valladolid since then have been officially 110% relegated from La Liga, so they are gone. Valladolid are no longer in La Liga. It's been confirmed. It's official. And then Barcelona, look, they obviously watched them last night actually. Actually watched both of Barcelona's last 2 games, the Copa del Rey final and the Champions League game. But they returned to La Liga action for the first time in a while. Saturday night against Valladolid. Look, I'll be honest. Well, Barcelona are probably going to rotate a lot of their players now, given that they don't have any advantage really going into that game against Inter. It's practically 0-0. Doesn't matter about 3-3 anymore. But yeah, Barcelona, I think they're going to rotate, but I just think Valladolid are shit. So look, 6% for a Valladolid win, 10% for a draw, 84% for Barcelona win. Look, I'll be honest, I could just see Barcelona just trashing Valladolid. I'll be honest, I really do not see Valladolid causing an upset here. Look, the last time these two teams played each other was a 7-0 Barcelona win. I could see something similar. I'll go 5-0 Barcelona. I think it's just going to be quite comfortable for them. Even with the rotated changes of players, which I think Hansi Flick will do, Valladolid are just terrible. So I'll go 5-0 Barcelona. Why not? I don't know what to preview. Like, they're both in the very differences. I've said 5-0 Barcelona. So I'll go with that. 5-0 Barcelona, comfortable in the end for them. Next up we have here is Real Madrid against Celta Vigo. Now, obviously, Real Madrid coming off of that Copa del Rey loss. Celta Vigo, meanwhile, are trying to clinch and hold off a few teams below them in that race for the European spots for football, Europa League, Conference League, at least for them. Now, obviously, as a Depor fan, I want them to fail, but win probability, 71% for a Real Madrid win, 16% for a draw, and 13% for a Celta Vigo win. Now, I know this is played at the Bernabeu, But I'll be honest, I could honestly see. I don't know why I think this, but I could honestly see Celta Vigo getting a win here. I don't know why. I don't want it to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But I don't know. I have this strange feeling that Real Madrid will get cooked by Celta. Obviously, Celta Vigo had a 3-1 lead against Barcelona a couple of weeks ago at the Montjuic. So Celta Vigo going away at Real Madrid, and the last time, well, actually they did play each other in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal, and I think it ended 4-2 or 4-3. So Celta Vigo, obviously, this season have been a lot better. Last season, I remember last season they got thrashed like 4-5-0 something by Real Madrid. But I don't know. I have this strange feeling, honestly, that I think Celta Vigo might do it. Unfortunately, I'll go 2-1 Celta. I don't know. I just have that strange feeling that Celta Vigo will get the job done, even though the advantage is clearly on Real Madrid. But I just have that strange feeling. I don't know why. Sunday afternoon kickoff. Yeah, I don't know. I just have that strange feeling. So I'll go 2-1 Celta Vigo away. I just have that strange feeling about it. 2-1 Celta is my prediction. Now, obviously, as we do move on to the next game we have here is Sevilla against Leganés. Now, obviously, both of these sides not in great run of form. Sevilla 52% for win, 28% for draw, 19% for Leganés win. We have to scroll a bit down into the table. 15th against 19th basically. Sevilla haven't won a game in fucking ages. 7 games without a win for Sevilla. Leganés as well haven't won a game since beating Getafe back in early March, I believe, or end of February. Look, both of these sides are in terrible run of form. I could see this being a draw, but I think there will be a winner. And I don't know. You could see Sevilla losing, but I just feel like Leganés, they'll still be in it. They'll still be in that relegation scrap. But I just think Sevilla will at least turn up here. I just have that feeling. Leganés did take advantage when they played Girona last week with that 1-1 draw, which they probably should have won, I'll be honest. But I just think Sevilla might just have too much quality for Leganés. So I'll probably go with I'll go 2-0 Sevilla. I think Sevilla finally gets back to winning ways here. I'll be honest. I'm going with a Sevilla 2-0 win. I don't know. I just have that feeling that Leganés, they're going to get haunted by themselves, that they're not really picking up the form that they desperately need come the end of the season. And they have to play Las Palmas eventually as well. But I'm going with a Sevilla win 2-0. I think maybe Luque Bacchio might get into the score sheet. Next up, this is quite an exciting fixture. Sunday afternoon, we have Espanyol. We have Espanyol against Real Betis, the GOAT. Anthony, the GOAT. He's coming up going away at Barcelona again, this time against Espanyol. Now, win probability, it has helped increasingly for Espanyol. 28% Espanyol win, 31% for a draw, and 41% for a Betis win. Now, obviously, Espanyol are in the similar position of Valencia, whereby they picked up form at just the right time, I feel, back in March, April, and kind of comfortable now. Just need probably just even a point. Like, they're already on the same number of points as Getafe, and we would say Getafe had a better season, but they're practically identical records. As for Real Betis, look, had a bit of a stumbling when they lost to Villarreal at their home at the Benito Villamarín. But obviously now they picked up a couple wins here. Obviously they destroyed Valladolid like 5-1. Anthony and the rest cooking. And I don't know. I just feel like there's still a bit of nice momentum coming from Betis, but I could also see Espanyol getting something here. I could see them getting a draw. Look, Espanyol actually drew and lost because they played Villarreal, so it didn't really help Betis. I might have to go with a draw here, people. I don't know. I just have that feeling that this could be a draw here. and I'll go with an exciting 2-2 draw. I don't know. I think Espanyol can turn up here, and I kind of haunt Betis in this one. Um, yeah, I don't know. I could see someone like Juan Prado doing well for Espanyol in this game. Definitely a lot of chances, and Juan Rafia, the Espanyol goalkeeper, definitely a goalkeeper to keep your eye on. Upcoming that now, people, it's the big one. It's the big one. It's the big one. That's what she said. Because now we are here talking about the Derby de País Vasco, the Derby of the Basque Country. We have here the main one, Real Sociedad against Athletic Club. Now, there's some thinking around this that this is quite an interesting Basque derby, you would say, obviously. Now, win probability 40% for Sociedad win, 31% for a draw, 29% for Athletic Club win. Now, here's the thing, right? We look at the table. Athletic Club, I feel like will see out, get Champions League football, whether it's third, fourth, fifth, or whatever. I think they'll get it. Though they kind of have to be worried, but we'll see. As for Sociedad, they're only 2 points behind Osasuna in the Conference League spot. If they get Conference League football, great. And obviously Sociedad, the manager in Arguinesil, is going to leave Sociedad by the end of the season. But this would be a good way, kind of, to cap off beating Athletic Club in the derby as well. Now, here's the thing, right? Sociedad are aiming to get into Europe. Athletic Club are aiming to get into the Europa League final at home. And I don't know how much rotation this Athletic Club team will have. I don't know. Well, obviously, they're going to take it seriously. I do believe that, obviously. I think, obviously, the fans want them to take it seriously. But I think there's a little bit of rotation here. And usually the home side, because obviously I actually did a long time ago when Athletic Club hosted Sociedad and it ended 1-0. I can see Sociedad picking up a big win here and beating the rivals, Athletic Club. I don't know. I just this is. I think I'm super leaning towards Sociedad getting the win here, but I don't know how much Athletic Club will have the lot of rotation in their team, because we'll see what happens in tonight's game against Manchester United, which Athletic Club are playing at the home stadium in Bilbao at San Mamés. And I just feel like with Sociedad here, that they've not been great form, obviously, but I think, I don't know, they could squeeze through in this game. And I'll go with a Sociedad win here. I'll probably go with like a 3-1 win for Sociedad. I just feel like I don't know how much Athletic Club are going to take a lot of momentum from that game against Man United, and how they will have to respond in that second leg with whatever the result is by then. So I'm going with a 3-1 3-1 win for Sociedad. I just have that feeling that they'll get the job done, Sociedad, but I don't know how much Athletic Club is taking seriously. I don't know. Now, the final game of La Liga this weekend, it's Monday Night Football. It is Girona against Mallorca. Girona against Mallorca. Now, win probability, it still stands at 47% Girona win, 30% for a draw, 23% for a Mallorca win here. Now, if you scroll down, Mallorca are just amongst of a lot of teams competing to get into Europe. They're now in 9th place, though goal difference and head-to-head kind of put them a little bit below Osasuna in that Conference League spot, but they're 2 points behind Celta. So it's really a battle for 7th and 8th place amongst like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even like 6, 7, 8, because Valencia could do it as well, and maybe even Sevilla outsiders. I do think that Mallorca definitely in and amongst it. Whether they'll end up getting some form of European football, we'll find out. However, they're not in a great run of form. Obviously, they lost to Barcelona last week, just before Barcelona played that Copa del Rey final. Meanwhile, Girona, they finally ended a run of like 4 losses in a row by drawing away at Leganés last week, which was not the best result for Girona. I don't know. Well, now I've called it. I've called it. I think Girona are in a relegation scrap. They are in deep trouble. Um, they have to pick up a win here. They have to beat Mallorca because it's not getting easier for Girona. I just feel like this season's becoming in serious danger of petering out. And in like from Champions League football, playing Champions League football in January and getting relegated in May is crazy. You know, finishing what, third last season to getting into the bottom 3 is crazy. But don't sleep on it. I'm really, really not excited, elated, or whatever with Girona's form, and I could see them losing this game if Mallorca are definitely up for it. Even though Mallorca haven't been particularly good in recent times, but the fact that I don't know, both teams are aiming for something different. Mallorca, like you would think it should be the other way around. You would think Girona should be fighting for European spots, and Mallorca should be battling out to survive relegation. But it's the other way around, and I think Mallorca. I don't know. I just have that slight feeling they'll get a win here, Mallorca, like a 1-0 win for Mallorca. I might have to go with that prediction. I might have to. Um, so I'm going with a Mallorca win, 1-0. I think it will happen, Mallorca, to get the unfortunate. Not Mallorca, Girona, unfortunately, not picking up where they should be picking up points. Crucial game. Now, obviously, just finished previewing all the La Liga games, kind of making this show a bit quicker as well. Just giving you guys a little bit more of my insight as well. But now it's time for the El Toro de la Semana, the bowl of the week. Now, obviously, you had the games in midweek, but I'll be honest, none of the games from midweek really impressed me. Like, I'll be honest. So it's really the Copa del Rey game, and I have to give it to Jules Koundé, who scored the winning goal in extra time against Real Madrid. So I'm picking Jules Koundé for the El Toro de la Semana. I think he was really good in that game, obviously against Real Madrid. So I think he definitely deserves a shout for El Toro de la Semana, and I will go for Jules Koundé. Now, people, it is time. I don't know where's. There it is. La Liga dos Segunda. It is time to talk about the Segunda. Now, let me just zoom in. Now, obviously, I didn't recap the games in the last El Toro show. So I'm just quickly run through the game week 36 games. Sporting beat Miranda 3-1. Castellón beating Almeria 4-1. Big surprise. Racing Ferrol beat Eldense, was probably the biggest loss for Eldense in this one. Racing Club Santander beat Huesca at their ground. Levante 5, Zaragoza 2. Burgos and Cadiz played out a really entertaining 2-all draw. Granada 3-2 win away at Cartagena. Cartagena relegated. Cordoba 0, Oviedo 0. Pretty dull in that one. Elche 2, Albacete 2. Deportivo La Coruña, obviously, we get a 0-0 draw at Tenerife at home. And Eibar and Malaga played out a 2-all draw, so a few draws here and there and exciting wins. Now the games from this past weekend, which did kind of overlap the Copa del Rey games. On the Friday night, we had Cadiz getting a win over Sporting Gijón. We have Albacete beating Cartagena. Cartagena will almost certainly and officially will be finishing almost certainly at the bottom of the Segunda. Real Oviedo picked up a huge win to get themselves in a potential spot of at least the playoffs, but potentially automatic promotion. Big win, 1-0 over Levante. So Levante not having a good week for them. Eldense 1, Cordoba 1. Not great couple of weeks for Eldense. Granada and Elche 1-1. So Elche back-to-back draws after having a good run of wins. Miranda's beating Burgos 2-1. Now, Racing Club Santander beat Deportivo, and we got a red card. Our goal scorer, Granero, gets the red card at the end of the game. Yay. But we lost. First loss in a long time for us as well. But yeah, Racing Club got the win, the double over us as well. Tenerife and Eibar 1-1 draw there. Malaga, big win for Malaga, 1-0 win over Castellon, which could make Malaga survive relegation. Zaragoza 1, Huesca 1, and then Almeria on Tuesday, because this game was meant to be played on Monday, but due to the what happened in Spain, the game was played the day after on Tuesday night. Almeria 2, Racing Ferrol 1. Now, and that actually meant that Racing Ferrol are officially relegated from the Segunda, and they will be playing in third tier football, the Primera Ref. So we have Cartagena and Racing Ferrol relegated now from the Segunda, and we still don't know who's getting promoted from either leagues or getting up to La Liga. But the games this upcoming week, we only have 5 games to go. We have here Cordoba against Cadiz tomorrow night, Friday night football. You have here on Saturday, you have Huesca taking on Oviedo, so a big one. If Real Oviedo get a win here, or at least a point, I think they secure it. I think they will secure the playoff at minimum. Malaga have to win as well. Poor form they've been having, and they're still in the chance of the playoff. Malaga and Granada, so it's a battle of the Andalusian clubs. Eibar taking on Mirandas, that's a big one there for Mirandas. They have to pick up a win here. Burgos, Elche, Elche back-to-back draws, not great. They were kind of clear, and now they've been dragged into it. And Burgos, quite decent run of form for them. And then you have Levante taking on Tenerife. Levante have to be picking up a win here, but Tenerife in decent form, I would say. Racing Ferrol taking on Zaragoza. Zaragoza have to win here. It's imperative that they have to win here, Zaragoza, to survive relegation. Cartagena already relegated. Racing Club de Santander, they have to win this one, basically. They're playing against the worst team in the league, a team that Deportivo failed to beat. Almeria taking out Eldense. Eldense have to also pick up a win to really drag themselves really away and closer and to safety. Almeria, though, are facing the chance of survival, or not survival, of the playoff. Deportivo, Albacete, I'll be honest, our season, Depor, I think is finished. We're not getting the playoff. We're not getting relegated. Albacete is the same story for them. So at least an entertaining game, please. And hopefully we win. And finally, Castellon taking on Sporting Giron on Monday night. A battle which I think a winner here survives relegation, more or less. The loser, unsure, but likely still safe. Now, looking at the table, here we go. Let me show you guys the league table with 5 games to go. Everyone has 5 games left of the season. Just trying to zoom in and showing you guys the table as well. Now, it seems like now, here you go, the table, the top 8 are practically competing at some form of promotion. Now, from 1st to 8th, it's separated by 10 points, but obviously the top 2 get automatic promotion into La Liga. So currently it's held by Elche and Levante, but only 2 points separate them from the playoff away. Racing Club Santander are the closest challengers to that at the moment, and they picked up back-to-back wins the past 2 game weeks, so it's been good for Racing Club Santander. Personal opinion, I hope Racing Club they did beat that poor, but I hope Racing Club get promoted. I think it would be nice for La Liga to have a Cantabrian club in there, hopefully an Asturian club, which Real Oviedo are currently in 4th. Kind of looking, it seems like Oviedo and Mirandas are kind of locking themselves into the playoffs, but I think it's really the top 3, and then 4th to 8th is the big one, because it's 4 points separating 4th place Oviedo and Mirandas, and Huesca in 8th. It's the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So only the top 6 has any chance of promotion. Granada at the moment at 59 points, 3 points behind Miranda's occupying that spot, but Almeria same point, so it's the same thing. And Huesca only a point behind both of them. So it's really all to play for in that regard for the promotion spots. As for mid-table, I'll be honest. Look, Albacete and Huesca, the closest challengers are Albacete, Cordoba, Burgos, Deportivo, Eibar, and Cadiz. I'll be honest. That's the mid-table. I think we're safe. I think Albacete safe, Cordoba safe, Burgos safe. We're safe, as I said. Eibar safe, Cadiz are safe. Now it's really, really looking like when you look at the bottom 8, because it's the bottom 4 that get relegated. So 22nd, 21st, 20th, and 19th. Those 4 teams. So from Eldense and below get relegated. I think, well, obviously, I said Cartagena and Racing Ferrol, they are officially relegated, so they have no chance of survival. Tenerife are 6 points behind, so they have to beat Levante, which will be a tough ask. And even then, look, Tenerife are on a run of like 7 games unbeaten, something like that. 8 games unbeaten, I think, even. And they're still probably going to get relegated. So their season has been really, really poor at the start, and it's just, I feel like it's too little, too late. They're 8 points from safety, from Zaragoza. I think it's really about between. I think it's about between 15th to 19th. Sporting Gijon, Castellón, Malaga, Zaragoza, Eldense. And Eldense are the ones in the big danger zone at the moment. Goal difference doesn't help them. Head-to-head probably doesn't really help them as much, though they have beaten Zaragoza recently. But yeah, I just feel like it's going to be tough. I think, obviously, I said Sporting Gijon play Castellón on Monday night. I think winner survives more or less relegation. Loser, not sure. Both teams not in amazing form, I'll be honest. I think, I'll be honest, Sporting and Castellón, I think, will be safe eventually. Malaga kind of looking safe as well. 46 points, they're 4 points clear of Zaragoza. Obviously, if 2 of those 3 teams I just mentioned lose and Zaragoza and Eldense win, then it's all to play for. Yeah, it's looking precarious, and obviously, I think if Tenerife lose any of the next 5 games, because they're on a good unbeaten one, but it just seems like it's not going to be enough. I think Tenerife will still go down. I don't know. I don't want to think at the back of my mind, but I could see Real Zaragoza still being dragged down into it. Yeah, I think it's all to play for both Eldense and Zaragoza. It's a big relegation battle scrap in there. I think that's how it's going to be like in that regard. That's what I think. But yeah, that is it for the Segunda Division, Segunda recap, basically. And yeah, that's the end of the show, actually, people. For practically 40 minutes show, so a little bit of a shorter show than what I've had, because usually it's around 50 or so minutes, but I kept this a little bit shorter for your health or safety. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Just a big nice shout out. Obviously, big up to Charlie, No Filter FC. As he said, he'll be watching Angeball, so we'll see how Tottenham do against Boulder Clint. At AD744 says hi. Obviously, as I said, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm on 667 subs just right now at the moment. Obviously, maybe can reach 700. I'm kind of stuck on the six whatever number on the channel, but 700 would be nice to hit. So please do hit the subscribe button on the channel as well. But yeah, as I said, please do hit the like button on this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Follow me on X and Twitter as well. And yeah, the next time you guys see me will be on Friday night, because I am doing Rayo Vallecano against Getafe, the Vallecas game. Rayo Vallecano against Getafe, Friday night football, 9 o'clock. I'll be doing a watch along for it. And yeah, it's going to be great. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.